Now we have our next panel, Careers, Clarity and Confidence, Charting the Way Forward. We've heard a lot of people over the course of the last 3 panels speak about clarity, speak about confidence, and speak about owning their spaces. And this is going to be a discussion where we have Jasmin Pithawala, BCG, Mona Kwatra, L&T Financial Services, Neha Mehrotra, Avian, Shaily, Vaswani, Aditya, Birla Group, Shweta, Munjal, Lupin, and it's going to be moderated by Abhilasha Padhy, ATDB. Abhilasha, welcome to the conversation. The stage is all yours, and looking forward to hearing from a lot of my favorite people that are on this panel currently. So over to you, stage and screen, all yours.
Thank you so much, Shreya. So nice to have all of you on the panel today. So imagine it's 10 years from today and you're still in the same job. How would that feel? If you're shuddering and thinking, is this as good as it gets? Or you wouldn't even consider staying on where you are, in the same job, the same company, the same industry for the next decade. Well, you might not be alone. And fun fact, work isn't supposed to suck. You aren't meant to become a robo and be going to office day after day and not achieving what you want to do. And that's exactly what we are going to discuss here today. Careers, clarity, and confidence. How does one chart their career forward? And we're going to add a dash of gender today because it's, of course, International Women's Day. So good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to be moderating a panel with such enterprising women, each one of you a leader, an achiever, and a star in your own capacity. Can we do a quick round of introductions? And maybe you could each add at the end of it if you like chai or coffee. Shall we begin with you, Mona?
Sure. Mona Kwatra, L&T Financial Services. I'm a fan of chai.
Great. Shaily?
Hi, Shaily Vaswani, Aditya Birla Group, and definitely a fan of chai.
Jasmin?
Yeah, hi, Jasmin Pithawala from the Boston Consulting Group, and I too love chai.
Oh my God, that's a completely chai polarized panel we have today. Neha?
Hi, I'm Neha Mehrotra from Avian. I have to say, I'm part of the boat.
All right, great. And Shweta?
Abhilasha, I missed your question. Sorry, say that again, please.
So just a quick round of introductions, and you can just say what do you prefer, chai or coffee?
A chai addict, chai, and this is Shweta Munjal, a proud mother and of course a communications professional.
Awesome. So we asked that as a ice-breaking session when someone joins a company new. So clearly a very, very focused panel over here with everyone on the side of chai. With that, let's just jump straight into our topic. So we're talking about clarity in career and how does one get the confidence to achieve where we're headed towards. So if that's the question, what does a successful profession mean to us? Mona, would you like to take a first stab at it, defining what is success in terms of a profession and how did you reach that clarity?
Okay. So honestly, success is, I treat it as an equation. If on one hand, I have funding my future goals, personal or professional on one side. On the other side, I have be the best in what you do for your clients and your businesses and demand respect and regard. So it's an equation for me.
Okay. What about you, Shaily? What's your take on this?
So clearly, success for me is managing the right balance and being very articulated and focused in your head about what you want to achieve. That clarity of thought about what you want to achieve, what is your end goal, and are you going to be able to strike that right balance is what success means to me.
So balance, I think balance is the quintessential search that we all have, how to get that balance in our lives. Jasmin, what's your take on this? How do you define success? And I mean, if that's the kind of clarity we're looking at, how did you reach it?
Okay, so for me, success is more of the voice being heard on the table. And it's a combination of everything. It's a combination of flexibility. It's a combination of, being recognized. All that together is successful.
Okay, great. I think voice being heard on the table, that I think was a eye-opener for me when I read Lean In. And, it was, I was 30 at that point in time, and I realized, oh my God, no one ever told me that. And I think it is very, very critical in the environment, in the dynamic environment that we're all functioning in. With that, Neha, how do you define professional success? And what you define as success, how did you reach that clarity?
So I think in every stage in our careers, I think we all have very different definitions of success, right? When you're just starting off, it's very different. When you're in the mid-level, you're very different, and so on and so forth. I think for me, for a very long time, success has been about creating something with a lot of authenticity, with a lot of passion, and with a lot of empathy. So if my team members respect and they trust me to do the best for them and look after their professional goals and professional success, I think that for me is success in a lot of ways. Similarly, as far as my clients are concerned, if I do have a voice with my clients in all communication that I have with them, that is success for me. Likewise, I think if I am extremely empathetic towards my team, that is success for me. So it really depends on how people view you and what are the goals that you set for yourself when you're talking of success.
Yeah, that's so well said. Authenticity is so critical in this day and age now in a post-pandemic world, because if you're not authentic, you do not have any kind of impact. With that, Shweta, what's your take on this? How do you define professional success for yourself, and how difficult, or how do you reach there? How do you reach that conclusion?
Neha, success to me truly, as rightly pointed out, balance, and important to work, accomplish goals, etc. But I think one of the most important thing for me is, do I have the time to take care of myself? Just turned 40 and I just know that it's so important, and this is like late realization that I have to, find time to take care of myself. I have to have a very sound or rather balanced mind so that, it just makes me help making smart decisions for my company. So I think professional success to me is, I think, really maintaining balance in my life.
So what I hear is, a mix of a lot of things makes professional success for us. Demanding respect, creating balance for ourselves, a voice being heard, authentic leadership, being true to your clients, and of course, time for oneself. So having said that, you're all accomplished women. You must have, arrived at this, but it's not difficult. Clarity in itself as a term can be an oxymoron. How do you reach? How do you get that clear? Mona, would you like to talk over here?
I wish somebody had asked me this question 20 years back, because we think we all do, but we don't. We don't have clarity. We don't have a path clear. We don't have 5-year, 10-year, 15 goals. Maybe the women of today do. I didn't. Okay. So the fact is, you need to appreciate, and we all need to realize that the life ahead is not a clear, shining, beautifully well-lit path. There are going to be road bumps and ups and downs, and you need to be agile. And which is why it's important, you need to plan your short-term and long-term goals, both professional and personal, and also learn to be agile and quickly monitor and change your goals to suit the needs. Whether you want to be an entrepreneur 10 years down the line, whether you want to make a living off stock options, living for, working for the same company, there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I often hear people that, oh, I've been too long, or that person's been with a company for too long. I am sorry, there's a beautiful, fantastic, positive side to remaining with the same company for longer time if it is doing well, because you grow with the firm, your salary also gets on year, the kind of mental comfort levels that we get as women, and that brings balance to our life, is invaluable. And yes, obviously, each year you have to be better than your previous year, and that's where you get your performance metrics. If you have the luxury of being with the same company, great. Or maybe you have other aspirations, or maybe there are other opportunities that professionally stretch you and you want to explore that, whatever. But just understand that there will be roadblocks, and that is fine. Embrace them, be agile, and move on.
That's very, very well said. I think the importance of short-term and long-term goals is something all of us would have used as communicators for our clients. But I don't think we make that objective, or we think that in a whiteboard for ourselves ever. That's such a wonderful thing to have pointed out. Shaily, what's your take on this? Reaching that clarity, and I said, clarity is a very, it's a very difficult term. How do you define it? How do you reach it? How difficult was it?
And I think I tend to agree to quite an extent to what Mona said. When we started our careers almost 3 decades ago, that clarity of thought was really not there. The function that we are in today was hardly there. We could count the number of professionals in that space on our fingers. And we were just trying to find a space for ourselves. We weren't trying to be successful at that time. Success was not our goal. Finding a space for ourselves was a goal. Being able to be seen, being your voice heard. Today we understand all that we were looking for. That voice to be heard, finding that little space, being able to get that foot in the door was actually all in the direction towards having a successful career or having clarity and confidence, which we understand today after maybe 2.5 decades. But at that time, I think clarity wasn't there. But when we look at our careers today and we look at ourselves today, I think we're quite clear about what we need. We're quite clear because of our experiences. I think those experiences have really changed a lot for every one of us. We've kind of learned, we've unlearned, we've accepted a lot of things as a part of the journey because let's face it, unfortunately, we live in a world of biases. We live in a world where we are clearly differentiated amongst men, women, job for a woman, not a job for a man. We've gone through that. So that clarity, even if we had for a career, we weren't going to be able to really make the best of it. But today we know what we want. And I think those experiences bring that clarity as you move forward. So I think experiences play a very, very big role, and acceptance of the reality and moving forward and making your plan accordingly as you proceed is a very big support system for you in your head, that you need to be clear. You need to be clear about what you want, and you start working in that direction. You start doing the maths and you start moving forward. That's, I think, really
true. I think there is no, there's no replacement for experience that helps you chart your path ahead. And as Mona before you said, it's short term and long term, and I think it is these experiences that help us chart our long term goals. So thanks Shaily. Jasmin, what do you how did you reach you said balance was very, very important for you, so how did you reach that kind of clarity? What pushed you towards it, and how difficult was it?
So I agree that, a balance of both is very essential. And also, what I see is that as Shaily and Mona also rightly said that, when we started our careers, maybe 10 years back, we were just trying to get that place somewhere. It was not about success, but getting that place. And, and I see as, things have evolved, and I see the younger generation who's joining my team. I see that, they are very aspirational. They want quick success. For us, it was okay if we were promoted after 5 years, 7 years also, as long as we had the knowledge growth, as long as we were comfortable with the leadership team, that all really mattered to us. But this generation, which is new and coming in, is really not interested in any of this. They want to see, when is the next level that they will reach, and these are the questions that I am kind of addressing when I'm interviewing people, So, there is this big generation gap that I see, and, it is up to us to kind of train them as professionals as they come along. And again, there is no substitute for the experience. I truly believe that what is that one thing that you bring to the table, you can call it the spark, you can call it the USP, whatever you call it, but that is something that you stand for. And that is something that you're known for in the organization. And that is something very unique to you.
Yeah, so what I hear here is, of course, no substitute for experience. And that one thing that differentiates you from other and how you build upon it is something that could help you towards the kind of clarity that you're looking at. Neha, where are your view on this? What is your view on how to, achieve this clarity, and how difficult was it for you?
Yeah, so I feel there isn't a fixed formula, right, to get to success. And like I've heard from all my fellow panelists here, and I completely agree with all of you that when we started off, I don't think we had the kind of clarity that we have today about where we wanted to be in terms of success. And just as Steve Jobs said, you can only connect the dots when you look back and not when you look forward. I think the point is very clear over here for me, is that, one has to, for me, one of the very big things is that you have to completely be at it. Patience and perseverance is what gets you to success. And that is, I think there is no replacement for this. I do know, and I did hear People talk about the fact that kids of today, they want to change faster, they want faster growth, etc., etc. But if you don't have the patience and if you don't have the perseverance, it's very difficult for you to achieve the success that you're probably looking forward to. The point is that you can't know the future. You can't know what's going to lie ahead, and therefore wait it out and see where you land. I think that for me is one of the biggest things to know. The other thing is, know what you're good at. Don't try and force fit yourself in different organizations and different roles. You have to know what you're best at and just keep at it so that you land where you want to land. So those are some of the things for me.
Great, great. Thanks so much, Neha. We come to you now, Shweta, on the same question.
So Abhilasha, I'll just say there's huge power in clarity, and it definitely starts with you. It has primarily allowed me to follow the purpose and the passion I had for my professional success, and I think it did not come easy, but I have absolutely got it over a period of time. You start off, there are multiple kind of uh, lot of bottlenecks that come in, etc., where you're not even sure if you're going the right way, etc. But over a period of time, if I am, and today I think it's very easy to say, as Neha said, I think once we've actually gone ahead, we realize that it's it's so much easier to have clarity, and it's far easier so that it can help us make the right decisions right now. So I think that's my point of view.
So what I hear again and again is that it's an evolving process and it changes with your life goals. And while every stage might be different, an approach or a concerted effort is required to achieve your goal. So, and getting to your career goal and having your clarity in place, but to achieve it needs to come not only with the right skills, but also with the will and energy. And for women, unfortunately or fortunately, while men and women have the same abilities, even if they demonstrate the same kind of strengths, it can get a little difficult. And maybe, that in turn affects a woman's aspirations and confidence over a period of time. So how do you approach evaluating new opportunities that come your way? Is there a lack of confidence that stops you from embracing new opportunities because of your gender, Mona?
You're saying opportunity in terms of job opportunities or confidence levels? What is?
Achieving your goals. So you have this goal A. So what?
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So I'll tell you, I think all of us, once we get clarity, it's great going. It's the initial, finding the clarity which takes time. But when you come to looking at opportunities and the cultural angles to this, I find that, there are biases, there are cultural biases, right, Abhilasha? That's the question, correct?
Yes.
So there are cultural biases when you are evaluating opportunity or how you take advantage. And I'll share a personal story. Many women of my age, not many, okay, some may have that. We were brought up to be good, respectful girls, not ask too many questions, not answer back, always be respectful, so on and so forth. Now we brought that into our workspace as well, right? In our initial years. Now you see, unfortunately, respect or regard for the seniors manifests itself in certain mannerisms which can be seen as appearing less confident. You speak less. You don't question too much. You are much more, you don't actually go and put a counterpoint of view. You seek other collaborative ways. So what happened is this quality, fortunately, unfortunately, in a woman is seen as a negative. And I promise you this, if you look at this quality about men who say fewer words, but when they speak, everybody listens. Those men are seen as, wow, something to really respond to. But if a woman does that, I challenge each and every one of you to question yourself. Do you know of any one woman who's like that? No, because she's perceived as less capable or underconfident. So this has hounded me, a lot in my life, and which is when I realized I have to speak up, I have to speak out. And honestly, Yes, they say it's not, you shouldn't be the loudest voice on the table. Don't be the loudest voice, but please speak up, because even though you feel you have sharp clarity and you need to speak less and not too much, perceptions out there, my friends, is everything. And you need to be speaking a lot more, if not be the loudest voice.
Interesting, Mona.
Abhilasha,
So,
can
yeah.
I just add to it? And maybe
Sure,
I may
sure.
be off this one, but
No, please tell me.
my 18 and a half years career in communications, and hand on my heart, I have never felt any kind of bias, any kind of, discrimination, honestly. Maybe, maybe I'm generalizing, but today when I am leading projects which are outside the scope of communication, maybe and also because I've achieved clarity much more in the last 3 to 5 years, I don't see that happening. And I absolutely, there are times when a lot of people say there are unconscious biases, there are biases, etc. Touch wood, I've not experienced that. A lot of projects respectfully got into those by the company, by the stakeholders, and it has worked well for me. So I don't know why. I'll just reserve myself by saying that how I have grown and groomed myself in companies, I have so far not experienced that at all.
Yes, so I think, it's all a combination. And as Mona very wonderfully put it, it's a work of the cultural biases. What we have faced as individuals is what is reflected in the manner we manifest ourselves. And that in turn is taken either as a strength and weaknesses. So I think, Shweta, it's great to hear your point of view, and I'm happy to hear that you haven't, but I'm sure there's so many of us who have, and maybe it's a little lesser in the field of communications. That's an interesting point. We could take it up later. But yeah, maybe it could be that. Shaily, what's your take on this? Do you feel a lack of confidence that stops you, or, that restricts you from embracing newer opportunities because of a certain gender?
Maybe not today. Well, I'll go back to experiences, and I go back to that again because we've traveled a certain journey in life. But I did feel I lacked confidence to a great extent in my earlier days of my career. And just a one-line example I'll give you. I was traveling with my manager to a certain location, and he expected me to, constantly have a conversation while the car was being driven. And that was expected out of me because I was the communication manager. And he just immediately snapped and he said, I thought you're a communication person, but you don't talk too much. I don't know what got into me at that point in time, but I ended up saying I do communication as a profession, not as a hobby. So that's my job that I do. So you don't expect me to go like chatter all the time. But that's when I realized, the expectations from women are a little different. And then I started talking to myself in my head and started deciphering a lot of things. And this I'm talking about 23 years ago. Today, I feel that there is a certain sense of confidence because A, I have seen my own journey. B, I have seen journey of my team members and I have been able to groom them or, give them some advice, etc. But I do feel over the different generations that I have worked with, the expectations are different. Like Jasmin mentioned earlier that, we are very happy with, our getting those projects and being that getting noticed. We look for acknowledgement like anyone, and it is not gender and this is completely gender agnostic. We all look for acknowledgement, we all look for appreciation, we all look for opportunities. This is a level playing field. Everybody looks for opportunities. We want to be visible in the space that we are in. So there may be two communication managers, one may be a male, the other may be a female. We all expect that kind of visibility. We want to be challenged. We want to be given those challenging opportunities, and we want to be able to deliver. Confidence comes through that. When you're constantly, when you're delivering, when you've been acknowledged for your work that you've been done, and also the visibility that you get in the space that you're in. And I think that is extremely important to be able to get that level of visibility that you are doing your job. And like I said, confidence comes with time, with experience, and also about adapting yourself. You should be able to accept the experiences that you've gone through. If you're uncomfortable with the experiences, you may even, your confidence may even tank downwards. Yeah.
So, clearly confidence again is a sum total of your experiences, and it happens over a period of time. And Jasmin, you've also spoken about this, how, it takes time to achieve clarity. And, coming back to the same question, how have you approached, opportunities and embracing new opportunities? And have you ever felt you have held yourself back because of your gender?
No, so I have never felt that, honestly, that gender is really the hindrance that comes in the way of opportunities. I believe that if you can prove yourself factually on things that you undertake, I think the management is very supportive of what you want to do. And again, you need those right kind of mentors in the organization, outside the organization, to kind of guide you through this entire journey. So that they also play a very important role, and helping you settle in and kind of seeing you through the journey. And I must say that in my organization or even outside, I have been blessed with very good mentors.
No, that's a wonderful thing. I think my entire career is the way it is today is because of the mentors that I have made earlier on in my career. I've learned everything that I have today from them. And it's a very, very important part of career and the eventual confidence that you get. Neha, what would be your take on this?
I think, to begin with, I think firstly, women need to break the shackles of this gender biasness in their own head before we go any further, because I feel we somewhere down the line, we as women block ourselves out. And I think that needs to change to begin with. The second thing is, I mean, I've been with this organization for the last 16 and a half years, and there's never been a time when I faced a gender biased sort of an issue. I mean, I've worked with several clients, over hundreds of clients. I've never faced this gender biased sort of an issue in my profession. Maybe it's prevalent in other professions. The point is, if you really speak up and you know what you're saying, you know your mind, I don't think anybody can stop you. I think we've gone way past this whole gender piece. That's my personal feeling. People understand what is needed, when it's needed, who's the right person to go to. If you have the right advice to offer, I think there is no stopping.
Great. Thanks so much. I think Mona wanted to say something.
Yeah, listening to all the myriad experiences that we have, it's an observation. It's not so much a gender bias as a personality bias, right? We all know different personalities exist. It's a scientifically well-known fact. And I know I have had to fight for, forget about women, but male team members who are very, very, softer spoken, a little bit assertive, but they are fantastic at their jobs. And I've had to fight on their behalf because they, unfortunately, because of their personality type, convey a very less confident piece, and maybe the self-glorification done by them is far less than someone who talks more and, walks the talk less. So I think maybe, and let's face it, a lot more women, their personality types may not always be alpha A++. So I think that is where I'm coming from.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I think, while gender bias is a reality and an unconscious bias, and we've heard this, pay, be it, equality, inequality of pay, or be it the glass ceiling. There is a glass ceiling. That's something that we all accept, but maybe it is the profession that makes it easier for us. The fact that communications as a profession is newer compared to a lot of other, professions in the space. If you look at manufacturing, if you look at pharma, it could be a lot more tougher over there. Having said that, it is heartening to hear that a panel full of very accomplished and enterprising women are talking about the non-existence of gender biases, and that as women, we should take it out of our system while approaching opportunities or, taking on new areas of responsibility. And this, this session also was the fact that mentoring and networking goes a long way in establishing a career path. Those people around you who you need to make an outreach to, investment in self. So, Mona, coming back to you again, what has helped you navigate, through your professional achievements or your career goals? How have you done it?
Mentorship is a word that you actually used, Abhilasha, and I think Jasmin, a couple of others have also, Neha has mentioned about mentors. I would add another word to it called allyship. Somewhere, and I have to call this out, women are not as good as men colleagues, and it's a personal observation, in being allies as men are. You see, mentor is when you learn and you get the guidance from someone, but allyship is when you have someone's back. It could be a junior, it could be your boss, it could be a person in the other department whom you're working with. And somewhere that's something women have to learn, adopt, and emulate, because more often than not, I find women don't understand the finer points of allyship, and not realizing that this self-glorification they're doing, or you're not having the back of people, word gets around, right? And tomorrow, the same people whom you have to work with are going to become references, or opportunities will present. But then you've set up a reputation for yourself that's not ideal. So you need to, in addition, and they make excellent mentors. Don't get me wrong. These women make fabulous mentors. So it's mentorship and allyship both. You have to have.
That's a lovely term. That's a lovely term. Maybe we should include it in the dictionary, allyship. I mean, it's something I think we all need to learn. How to develop it, how to nurture it. Shaily, what would you say about this?
Shaily,
I think you're on mute, Shaily.
When Mona was mentioning this point about women not being very good allies, somewhere in my head I was thinking, and also listening to the other panelists, because I just realized that there are different generations in this panel as well. Subconsciously, and then we keep talking about unconscious bias, but there is an unconscious level of insecurity somewhere, I feel, in women, because of which probably they don't end up being good allies, because there is a very unconscious insecurity that I would want to be in a certain space, and I don't want someone else to take it, because it's already very difficult to find your space in the larger scheme of things. You're anyway trying to fight a bias, you're trying to fight different situations within the organizations. I'm not too sure. Maybe that could be one of the reasons. But speaking to someone just does help. You speak to people, you engage, you find that confidant within the organization, or maybe even outside. You just might find someone. It's always a good idea to speak to someone. Whether you look at that person as an ally, or whether you look at that person as a mentor, having a conversation, expressing yourself, trying to understand what is it that is going right for me, or what is it that I can do better. If someone else can show you that picture, who has a neutral point of view, it'll just help you in taking the next steps in your career. I think that whole concept of having someone to speak to, I don't know if I want to bucket it in the space of having a mentor and an ally, but someone I can trust and someone whom I can speak to. And that is something that I would look for.
Yeah, completely agree over there, Shaily. Wonderful points. Jasmin, what has been your experience with mentorship, allyship, or just networking? How has it helped you in, your entire charting your career path?
So as I mentioned, mentorship is very important, and it could be just that one or two people, not many, whom you have the trust and the confidence in, that whatever you will share with them remains with them, and they will guide you on the path, and they are seeing you successful in the path. What I've also learned from my journey is that if you know your stuff and you can put it in the right aspect, I think the leadership is very open to kind of accepting it. And the last mantra that I would really put on this is that, I truly believe that chemistry is always very, very important than ability. If you have chemistry, ability can always be built. But if you have a lot of ability and no chemistry, then it's completely a waste. I have experienced that myself in my previous organizations. And I have seen it for myself that if you have chemistry, ability can always be built. So I truly believe that, chemistry, having the right chemistry with the person whom you're working, whom you're reporting into, is very, very important factor.
Yeah, and I think chemistry pretty much comes from the right attitude, the right intent, and the wish to be together. And I think skill, there's a hiring mantra we have, hire for attitude, train for skill, because skills can be taught. So, creating that balance and understanding then becomes very, very critical. Shweta, where are you on this entire mentoring, networking? What's been your experience in your career journey?
And let me just tell you the story. In my middle management, when I was there, my confidence was shattered by just a women manager who, just because of, and again, as Shaily pointed, insecurity is the word that I put it, but could be something else for her, put me actually in a very, very difficult position within the organization. And, I think while you obviously are in troubled waters, the one thing I decided for myself is that I can never be that person ever, ever, ever for anyone. And now that I lead communication for, organizations that I work with, I have just decided I will consciously not do that. For me, what I've done is, and that's the time I truly realized that you need to have a mentor. Definitely. But very important for us to also have a right sponsor within the organization to truly support you on your journey if you know you're doing right. Right? I think it's very important if you are on the right way of achieving your results, deliverables, and there are people who are just trying to add a lot of, whatever in your journey, you should know you have right sponsors within the organization to do that. And that has been my mantra ever since that, last close to 8 years. And that's what I do. I have my mentor who sits outside my organization, but I identify the right sponsors, basis the work and communication that we actually develop over a period of time to just ensure I'm successful within the organization.
Wonderful, wonderful. I think this entire, it's like a scientific, approach that you've said, anchoring, and then you have someone inside, then you have someone outside, which is a mix of investment in yourself. Coming to that, Neha, what's your assessment of the situation?
I think what happens in a lot of situations is that we are governed by our thoughts, right? And when we see a particular situation, we react in a particular way. Without realizing that a situation may be a perceived negative situation because of our thoughts. And I face this situation very often with a lot of my colleagues when I'm trying to sort an issue out, and I realize that I wish these guys had had an open conversation even before they came up, because if they did, they wouldn't have reached this point, because this is all a perception based issue, right? So I think in today's day and age, one of the big things that's needed is an open conversation. I can definitely not dispute the fact that everyone needs a mentor, and especially when you're trying to transition from the mid to the senior level, you need a mentor, whether the mentor is within the organization or outside of an organization. I have been fortunate enough to have a mentor who's literally handheld me through this transition of mid to senior level. So yeah, I think open conversation, open chat is one of the most important things. And the second thing is, everyone must have a mentor within an organization or outside. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think we do not, we do not realize the importance of a mentor or a net, or the entire concept of networking, or as Shweta pointed out, I just love the structure that she created of a mentor outside and an anchor inside to create that ecosystem for yourself. And it's only with experience that you actually arrive at that. And this is an open question to the panel. Have any of you ever invested in a career coach, or in a business coach, or in a life coach that helps you identify your needs, your requirements, where you are?
I've done it for my team members at DSP Merrill Lynch, and it's benefited them tremendously, because their mentors have gone, this is 10 years back, so today their mentors are places on a global scale. And my colleagues were also very smart young women, and they deserve full credit. Yeah.
Would you undertake that for yourself, Mona? I mean, something that you do for yourself, or advise people to make that investment in themselves? You feel that you're not learning a skill, or to go to the next level, you need a certain kind of a skill. Should you make that investment?
Oh, completely. I am all for executive coaching. And I think you realize and appreciate and identify that need much later when you're in the mid to senior level role.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's different from mentorship, etc. We're talking about coaching.
Great. I guess we have 5 more minutes on the panel, and we'll do like the closure session with a question, which I'm hoping will be fun. Maybe we can begin with Shaily. What would you like to tell your younger self? What you wish you'd known 23, 25 years back?
So much, but I'll just sum it up in like a quick 2-3 points. So one, I would say, market yourself better. Talk about your achievements. We rarely spoke about our achievements. We like it to be behind the curtains. Be present where it matters. And also be vocal where it matters. You don't have to shoot yourself in the mouth. You just sit on the foot, but make sure you be vocal where it matters. And be open to unlearning, upgrading, and updating yourself. I think it's so important because we feel that we've learned, and this is a flaw which even I may be having, where I sometimes feel that itne saal ke experience hai. You should be open to unlearning, upgrading yourself, and updating yourself on a regular basis. So these are the things that I would want for myself. And luckily, my younger self is my daughter, who's 25 years old in the same field as me. So I keep telling her these 5 points all the time. So I have someone to tell this to.
I love the term upgrading yourself. I think very, very essential. Mona, on to you now.
Two things to my younger self. Take negative or take criticism in the spirit that it's given. Please understand if someone is investing his or her energy to critique or give you feedback that you don't want to hear, they're investing a lot of their energy, their time, and they think you're worth it to give it to you and hopefully get you up to speed. Please listen. Okay, that was one. And second thing is, and this is Kaku, Kaku Nakati, CEO of Bank of America. I mean, over the years, I've heard her say, oh, come to me. If you have a problem, come to me. I will resolve it for you. And I used to go, wow, because, but truly, I understand what she means today. Don't run away from stressful situations, embrace them, work with them. And I found in a recent article, and I wrote this down, a recent article in Founding Fuel, there was an article by Dr. Sari Evans, which suggested that if you do that, if you embrace stressful situations, you actually reset your career trajectory upwards. It's so true.
Interesting, very interesting. Jasmin, what would you tell your younger self?
So I would tell my younger self is believe in yourself. That's number one. Then again, have a relationship with the word no, N-O. When somebody tells you a no, it is not for you as a person. It is for the task that you have undertaken. So do not take that personally. Learn to accept it. Learn to look beyond it. Then I truly believe that we may be excellent PR professionals, but we need to do the same for ourselves also. And this is something that I get this feedback year on year from my management also, that as much as I do an excellent job at the external front, I don't do it on the internal front. So I would like to tell my younger self that also, that's also very important. It's not about bragging or anything of that sort, but it's like, putting that message across that, yes, this is what I bring to the table.
I say brag a little bit. Do it.
And the last one that I would like to say is that be open to learning, be open to technology, learning new technology, learning a new skill that will always value add. That's it.
Yeah. In fact, there's a book on the power of saying no. So very well said, Jasmin. Neha?
For me, a couple of things. I think stop being so critical and so harsh on yourself. That's the first thing. I think be curious as you can be. Challenge the status quo always. Don't let the fire in your belly die just because there's somebody who's trying to show you down in any way possible. And last but not the least, love yourself like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah. In fact, be curious is something that we should be taught, since children. I think as we grow up, we just lose curiosity. So that's wonderful. Shweta.
Abhilasha, you just stole my word. One of the things that I told myself that I will surely do was upgrade myself. And after the stressful experience that I had, I made sure I become a culture coach, a values and culture coach, international certified. That was one thing I did it for my well-being. So a real true self at that point in time is for me to focus on and prioritize my well-being without feeling guilty. So I think that's just one thing that I have to say for everyone, actually.
Brilliant. And this is also an example of how you have invested in self, being a certified values and cultural coach. Brilliant. And I think that's what means, that's what the ethos of this panel is: clarity, confidence in our career, and charting a way forward. So brilliant, Shweta. And well, I would tell my younger self to read Lean In again and again. I read it at 30. I wish I had read it years back. And I think it should be a part of curriculum for girls in college. I think it's an exemplary book. Mona, are you saying something? No. Okay. Great. Thanks so much. I think we're running out of time now. Thanks for a fantastic panel and a very, very scintillating discussion. I hope people can take away, how they can arrive at their clarity and build career with confidence. Thank you so much, everyone. Over to you, Shreya.
Thank you so much, Abhilasha. What a panel that was. I think so many reflections and so much to sort of take you back in time, take you forward into the future. Here's the piece for this panel. Stuck, the needle's not moving, managing the right balance, focus and articulation with the end goal in sight. Make your voice heard, demand respect and regard. Create authentic narratives, respect and trust, passion and compassion, balance for ourselves, truth and magic. In short and long-term goals, agile and monitor roles, invaluable growth of chasing opportunities and aspirations and embracing roadblocks. Success never the goal, space was the goal then. Moving forward with experience and charting the path ahead without substitutes for experience. Who are you and what do you bring to the table? No fixed formulas for success and power and clarity, following purpose, evolving as you grow and achieve. Embracing new opportunities and how perceptions are everything, or maybe they aren't. Confidence through delivering and heartening stories of no bias encountered. Allyship, developing and nurturing, building the right chemistry and how the ability forms. The power of open conversations, of mentors and sponsors, and rising beyond perception. Be present, be vocal and grow, upgrade, take feedback in the right spirit, believe in the self, and have a relationship with the word no. Stop being critical and harsh on yourself. Be curious, but don't let the fire die out. Invest in yourself and simply just lean in. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, everybody, for that wonderful, wonderful panel. Thank you, Abhilasha, for moderating it so well.
Thank you, Shreya.
Thank you. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Careers, clarity, and confidence, charting the way forward.